Geronimo by Shepherd. You're listening to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. I am White Shadow, and don't forget, if you want to watch the live video stream, you can head to insanityradio.com/listen and hit that watch live button. When the mic is live, the video is live. Now, we have a very, very special guest in the studio today in the form of the lovely Linda Tarbet. Hi, Linda. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. You're sounding a bit nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit. You've got this.
Never done this before.
You've got this. There's always a first time. Linda has a very interesting story to share with us today, but first we're going to throw on another song while we get warmed up. So stay tuned to Insanity. We'll be back right soon. And don't forget, you can tweet into the studio using the handle @Insanity Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. You're listening. We Can Win by Rod Stewart. You're listening to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. I am White Shadow, and I am joined in the studio today by a wonderful guest by the name of the lovely Linda Tarbet. And I'm just going to find out a little bit more about Linda now, if I can. So,
Okay.
Where are you from?
I live in Englefield Green in a flat beneath yours.
It's a masonette.
Oh, okay. whatever.
Insanity Radio, the studio, is stationed on campus at Royal Holloway, University of London. And if I'm not mistaken, you used to work here a while back.
I did, yes. I've done a couple of temp assignments here before. Once in the principal's office for a couple of weeks. And early last year, I worked in the Careers and Employability Service for 2.5 months.
Ace. That's. Does it feel strange being back on campus?
No. It's not far from home anyway. So, and I've been up a couple of times since. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. So, when you're not working and busy doing stuff, do you have any hobbies or interests you'd like to share with us today?
Well, yeah, I love music, listening to music. I like musical theatre, watching movies and that. I've just recently got into photography, so I'm having a go at that. It's early days on that one. And looking after 4 cats takes some time. And of course, on top of all that, I'm doing a lot of fundraising at the moment.
Yes, fundraising's good. And 4 cats. That's a lot of cats.
It is, yes.
What are the names?
I'd have more if I could, but I don't think my husband would let me. I've got Pippin, Willow, Millie and little Sam, who's only a few months old. So he's a bundle of fun at the moment. Oh, bless. A bundle of fun kitten. That's always good.
Yeah. So I've got to ask now, you were talking about movies and musical theatre, that kind of thing. I've got to ask, are you looking forward to the new Lion King that's supposed to be getting released in 2019 with Beyonce voicing Nala?
Oh, I didn't know anything about that. That's a new one on me.
It's been going around social media quite a bit at the moment. But Beyonce has got a few lines as Nala. It's supposed to be getting released in 2019.
Oh, right.
And there's a lot of controversy surrounding it at the moment. There's a lot of people saying, leave the Disney classics alone.
Oh, God, yeah. I think you should really. I mean, I've not seen the stage show, and I know my husband has and said it's really, really good.
Yeah.
But, maybe one day I'll get to see that. But no, you've got to leave the Disney classics alone.
I like your thinking. I like your thinking. Recently, you've been setting up a lot of fundraiser projects in support of Prostate Cancer UK. Would you tell us more about that?
Yes, certainly. My husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer on the 19th of September this year, which came as a massive shock to us. I mean, you never think it's going to happen to you. But after a couple of days of taking in that news, I went onto the prostate cancer website to do some research. It's quite frightening, really, when you look at things like that and find out that 1 in 8 men in the UK will actually get prostate cancer at some time in their life. And those that are more at risk tend to be older men, men that have got a family history of the disease, and also black men. So obviously, if you fall into any of those categories, guys, you must go and get yourselves checked out.
Yes.
But after reading that, and especially with Bob being diagnosed, my next step was to find out how I could get involved in raising awareness and support. That's when I decided to go down the fundraising route. I suppose that in one respect, I can say that I've been fortunate, as recently I've had the time to devote myself entirely to it, due to the fact that I've been on garden leave as I'm being made redundant. That's why I've been able to spend a lot of time at the moment, but hopefully things will change on that point soon.
It's not very often I hear somebody say redundancy has been some good fortune.
No, it isn't usual. I should be getting used to it because it's not the first time it's happened. But the fact that it's happened at this time, especially when my husband needed the company as well, as he's coming to terms with the diagnosis.
That makes sense. I think you're right. I think it can be quite a shocking diagnosis to get because a lot of the symptoms can be very well hidden, and you can sometimes go a long time without knowing you've got it.
That's right.
And according to one prostate cancer website, over 47,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer every year in the UK, which is almost 130 new cases every day. At this moment in time, there is an estimated just over 330,000 men in the UK living with prostate cancer. And Prostate Cancer UK are a charity that tackle just about every aspect of prostate cancer and offer extensive support for men and their families who have been affected by it. And for the last 20 years, Prostate Cancer UK have been investing a lot of money into groundbreaking research that's improved the diagnosis, the treatments, the prevention, and the ongoing care and support for sufferers during and after their experiences. They've raised a lot more awareness, understanding of the symptoms and effects of prostate cancer inside the medical world and around the rest of the UK. So it's definitely a worthy cause. I think we've been talking for a long time. Shall we throw on a track or two?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Stay tuned to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM and we'll be right back after this.
La, 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 la.
Everything by Michael Bublé. Before that, we had 39 by Queen. You're listening to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. I am White Shadow, and I am joined in the studio by the lovely Linda Tarbet, whose husband Bob was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. And after just a few days of coming to terms with the news, they both decided to try to find ways of raising awareness to help protect others who could potentially be affected by this. Linda, what impact has this had on you and your family?
It's had a huge impact, as it's really changed our whole outlook on life, really. I mean, you never think this sort of thing's going to happen to you. Everybody does, but of course when it does, you're never really prepared for it. And taking it on board can be really difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine getting the news must sometimes leave you feeling like your whole life has been put on hold, and you find yourself asking, where do I go from here? What do I do?
Yeah.
I imagine it can't be easy on your mental well-being either, which can also impact on your physical health and even the relationships. So how has this affected you?
Well, personally, it affects everybody differently, but I've found that the mental effects far outweigh the physical effects, for me at the moment anyway. Mm-hmm. Initially, I was suffering with headaches every day with the stress of it all. Not only was I having to digest the news of Bob's diagnosis, by only 6 days later I was told I was losing my job, so I had that to cope with as well. After Bob had been nagging me a bit, I decided, yes, okay, I should go and see the doctor, so the doctors helped. But Bob and I often sit down and talk about it. I mean, we can sit and talk for hours about it, and that really does help, and it keeps us staying positive.
Yeah, it can make a big difference. Being able to talk about it with your partner can it just helps you to know that you're both there to support each other. You both understand what you're feeling, and you can figure out what would help together, which I'm sure could only serve to bring any relationship closer together.
Yeah, it's made us stronger, that's for sure.
Awesome. So what treatment is Bob receiving at the moment?
Well, initially he was going to opt to have a radical prostatectomy, which is the operation to remove the whole of the prostate. But unfortunately, he's got other health issues, so he wasn't able to go down that route. Mm-hmm. He's currently on a course of hormone treatment, which included having 3 weeks' worth of pills, and he's on 6 monthly hormone injections. And then at the start of February, he will be going on to radiotherapy sessions. He's got to have radiotherapy every day for 4 weeks. So that'll be fun.
Every day for 4 weeks. That's endurance.
It is, yes, especially as you've got to go all the way to Guildford as well.
Oh,
So it's
goodness,
driving backwards
yes.
and forwards every single day.
That's endurance. What other support have you and Bob been offered to help cope with this?
Well, when he first got the diagnosis, we met with a specialist Macmillan nurse at St Peter's, and she's absolutely wonderful. She's there if ever we need her 24/7, so we just give her a call if we've got anything worrying us. Friends and family have been great, offering help as and when we need it. We also joined an international support and awareness group on Facebook. But unfortunately, being an international group, a lot of the members were receiving treatment in countries which was totally different to the treatment that you receive in the UK. And one day, one of the members, I was talking to one of the members, and I said, well, perhaps someone ought to set up a UK only group. And he said, go for it, Linda. So I thought about it and went, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. So we did. We set up a group. And we've currently got just under 100 members.
Nice.
And going very well. And I believe that people are getting a lot of support through that group. And it's also been nice for us because we've made new friends as well. So it's been a bit of a bonus.
Yeah, new friends are always good.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell us more about the specific fundraiser projects you have going on at the moment.
Well, initially I set up a Just Giving page. Because I wanted to start raising money straight away, and obviously everything that's raised goes direct to Prostate Cancer UK. Friends and family have been making donations, which has been fantastic. I've also requested a fundraising kit from Prostate Cancer, and I'm getting t-shirts. I'm selling t-shirts and pin badges and wristbands. I had a suggestion from someone on the group that perhaps we ought to do a Christmas card to raise awareness of the disease. And at the same time, at the time of receiving this suggestion, a certain young man was sitting in our sitting room, wasn't you, White Shadow? And you helped to design the card with us, for which we will be eternally grateful. A good friend of ours, Carly Morgan, suggested we contact Blue Mushroom Print and Design in Chertsey to see if they could help us with printing. We went over to see them, and they very kindly agreed to print us 150 cards free of charge, which we're now selling. So that was great.
That is awesome. That is impressive.
Yeah.
I like that. And you have an event planned in the very near future, something upcoming.
We have this Friday evening. We've got an event taking place at the Raisbury Village Club, I should say. During the event, two friends of ours, Jason Searle and Tony Murphy, are going to be performing. There's going to be a raffle with lots of prizes that have been donated from various stores and businesses, and also individuals as well. We've had an amazing response from Homebase and Tesco's with prizes totaling in excess of £200. It's been absolutely incredible.
That's quite generous. I like that. That is very generous. So if people are listening into the show right now and they want to donate, get involved in the charity evening at Raisbury Village Club, or want to make a purchase, something like that, how can they get in touch with you?
Best way really to get in touch with me would be by email. So they can email me at lindatarbet61@gmail.com. If anyone would like to make a donation, they can also log on to my Just Giving page at justgiving.com/fundraising/Linda-Tarbet.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned Jason Searle earlier. If I'm not mistaken, Jason Searle was a winner of a popular TV show, Stars in Their Eyes, which aired from 1990 until 2006, but there are still repeats on right up until 2015. The next song on our playlist is Jason Searle's cover of Sweet Caroline. So stay tuned to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM, and we'll be back shortly. Save the World by Swedish House Mafia. Before that, we had Sweet Caroline by Jason Searle. You're listening to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. I am White Shadow, and I'm joined in the studio by the lovely Linda Tarbet. For those of you who have just tuned in, Linda Tarbet, Linda's husband Bob was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, and Linda has been sharing their story and telling us about the various fundraisers and awareness projects that Linda and Bob have been organising to help raise awareness for the disease. And I'm just going to jump straight back into the conversation, if that's all right. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. How have the fundraisers helped you to cope with the diagnoses?
It's given us a focus, really, and keeping us positive for the future. So we don't have to think about it too much. Something to just keep you focused. So
it sort of helps serve as a distraction to the situation as well as a coping strategy.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And of course, knowing that you're making a difference for somebody else, changing lives and potentially even saving lives too.
Well, I'd like to think so.
It makes it all the more worthwhile, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
So what's next for you? What are you planning on going from here?
Right. Well, after the charity evening, I need to find a job, really, first and foremost. But with regards to fundraising, I'm hoping to organise a very similar event next spring. Mm-hmm. And we've already got a venue lined up for that. Thankfully, Jason and Tony have both said yes, they'll be happy to do it. They're on board again, so that'll be back. Just really be back to pounding the streets again to all the retailers out there and trying to get donations for raffle prizes. Awesome.
So, if somebody out there was listening in right now and wanted to start their own fundraisers and projects, what advice or tips would you recommend to them?
Right. Well, first, obviously, you need to decide what sort of event you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Then you'll need to contact the charity you wish to fundraise for us, because they can offer some great advice. I mean, when I started to do this, I got in touch with Prostate Cancer, and Natalie in the fundraising team has been brilliant. They were all very helpful with suggestions for fundraising. You'll also need to obtain a fundraising authorisation letter from your charity, because if you're going to go out approaching retailers or businesses, you need to have proof that you're doing this for the charity. Mm-hmm. Also, if you want to go out street collecting, as you often see people out on the streets or going door to door, you'll need to contact your local council to get a permit for that. Because obviously if you haven't, you could be in serious trouble. Once you've done all that, the biggest tip I would offer is legwork. Speaking from experience, phones and emails are all okay, but nothing works better than face-to-face. I've definitely found that over the last few weeks has been the case. Mm-hmm. But more importantly than anything else, enjoy it. Because it's great to get involved in that and feel you're doing some good. Yeah,
I can imagine if you're doing something you enjoy, it can become a lot easier as well if you're starting encountering obstacles and that kind of thing. You don't get quite as stressed and tense about it because it's something you enjoy doing.
That's right.
Makes it that bit easier.
I never thought I'd get as involved in it as I have, but the more you do and you start seeing results coming, it does give you a buzz as well, and it just spurs you on to keep doing it.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm tempted to leave this link right there. I quite like that. Okay, yeah, I think it's a good time to put on a few more tunes. Linda, do you want to introduce us to the next song? Take us out of this link.
The next song you are going to hear is A Return to Innocence by Enigma.
Sexual Religion by Rod Stewart. Before that, we had Return to Innocence by Enigma. You're listening to Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. I am White Shadow, and if you've just tuned in, we've got the lovely Linda Tarbet in the studio today. Hey! And Linda's been sharing a story of her and her husband Bob, who was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. We've talked about the impact the diagnosis has had on their everyday lives, the remarkable amount of support and encouragement they've received from family and friends. We've talked about the various fundraiser projects Linda has taken on, not only to raise funds for Prostate Cancer UK, but also to raise awareness of a disease that can have a major impact on the mental and physical well-being of as many as 47,000 men every year and their families and friends. Linda has shared some wonderful tips for those who might be interested in starting their own fundraisers and events. And if you're interested in contributing to one of Linda's fundraisers, you can email lindatarbet61@gmail.com, or if you want to make a donation to the cause, you can check out Linda's Just Giving page at justgiving.com/fundraising/Linda-Tarbet. That's Tarbet. If you or someone you know are awaiting or receiving treatment for prostate cancer, it might be worth checking out Bob and Linda's UK-specific support group by jumping onto Facebook and searching Prostate Cancer UK Support Group. Now, we are very quickly nearing the end of the show. Linda, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, I would, please, if that's okay. Obviously, I want to say hi to my husband, Bob. Love you loads. Say hello to Maisie. I believe you'll be listening. You know who you are. To our friends Paul and Michelle, and Jason and Tony, and anyone from the Raspberry Club. I'm doing a great job, and we're really looking forward to Friday. I'd like to say hello to Karen Brown and Debbie Benson, Ray Johnston. Thank you guys for listening in today.
Fantastic. Bob, Maisie, Paul, Michelle, Jason and Tony, the Raspberry Village Club, Karen, Debbie, Ray. Just, if you're tuned in right now, thank you for listening. A huge shout out from Linda and everybody here at Insanity Radio. Linda, thank you so much for being on the show today and for having the courage to share your story with us.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it. And I want to say thank you for playing some of my favourite tunes as well.
There have been some smashers. It's been awesome. So don't forget to stay tuned. For the next 2 hours, you'll be joined by the Student Radio Association Chart Show here on Insanity Radio 103.2 FM. You have been listening to White Shadow and our wonderful guest, the lovely Linda Tarbet. Enjoy the rest of your day and rock on.